crazy. I couldn't believe that I finished 4th, you know, because at that point, like, no one had ever run under 2:06 on that course. And here I was under 2:05. I finished 4th, and I couldn't even see the guys who won the race. And I was like, what happened to these guys? I thought they, like, ran in front of us and then dropped out or something. I couldn't see the helicopter. So, again, it just shows that, you know, no one ever thought 2:03 would be possible in that course. Everyone always thought, oh, Boston's such a hard course, no one runs fast. And now everyone's like, Boston's blazing fast course. It's like, what? It's like, you've been running this race for 115 years, and it's not till the last 2 years that people think it's a fast course. So it just shows that, yeah, I'm totally with you. I think we'll see a sub 2 hour marathon. I think we'll see it sooner than most people think. You know, anything's possible. So I'm excited to see where the sport goes and excited to go with the sport as it's going that direction.
What do you guys do to stay in the zone mentally while you guys are competing?
Competing or training?
Both.
When I'm racing, to stay engaged, it doesn't take a lot. I think about little things and big things at the same time. When I'm racing, it's a lot of it is react and respond to what's going on, making a judgment call about what's happening specifically at that juncture of the race. The way I have it is, like, I'm not fully extended when I race. Like, I can go faster at certain moments, but I only have so much fuel, and if you're going to dump fuel to respond to a move or create a move, then you better make sure it's worth that fuel, right? So to stay in the moment, I think a lot about the micro things that are going on. So with swimming, it's like technique oriented. I just work on technique. Actually, one thing that's very similar between all three is like an internal beat in my head. I've got a rhythm in my head that I know the rhythm for swimming. It's, you know, it's breathe, 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 and it's very rhythmical. Same thing with cycling. It's very rhythmical. You get into a cadence. And same thing with running. I have a kind of a beat in my head, and I stick with small cues for technique to stay in the moment and present. But a lot of it has to do with what's going on around you, some external factors. And then when things get really difficult, I try to tell myself that it'll pass, which is really hard to do because you're in the thick of it, and it really hurts. It really hurts, and you think that hurt isn't going to go away. But it will, and I just try to think of, you know, when it's good, go. You know, when it's great, go with it. Go with the flow. You don't need to push. You just ride the wave and enjoy what you're doing. And when it's difficult, and you think, you know, it feels like the wind is in your face, and you're going uphill, and the temperature either is way too high or way too low. All those things that are out of your control seem to be going against you. What I try to do is like focus on small things, but also have a really strong mental approach to the game where it's just like, you know, now's the time to push just a little bit, and like this is a constant conversation in my head. Push just a little bit, just push, and then when things get super difficult, it's like, no, dig. Like, dig. Okay, it's over. Now just push a little bit. Now dig, push just a little bit. Okay, and it's over. They're never that short. Like, usually that's over like a long period of time and stretch, but or, you know, when 3 minutes feels like 3 hours. But things do improve, and there's an ebb and flow. So I try to like bring it down to the really small level, and I never ever overwhelm myself with like, oh, what's my celebration going to be like at the finish line when I'm at mile 5 on a bike? So.
Yeah, I'd just say, just don't make it too complicated, you know? I think sometimes, like in the U.S., we make it such a big deal, like what we're thinking in our head, and sometimes I'm not as concerned with each thought that comes in my head. I'm more concerned with making sure those are positive thoughts, you know? So you want to control that, but I remember like an interview with Michael Phelps after the Olympics, and someone asked him what is he thinking when he's swimming, and he's like, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just swimming. I'm just going for it. And there's always points in the marathon, particularly towards the last 10K. I think the more intense the race is, the shorter it is, the more you just need to be just going for it, just in the moment, just pounding, not worried about what you're thinking about. But like when Andy's out there for so long, or if I'm out there the first hour of the race, you know, you are obviously thinking about stuff. But I think there becomes a time when you're really, maybe the last half of your race, where you're just putting your head down, you're just running. You're not worried about thinking about a certain thought, and it's okay to have thoughts, you know, or have something, a mantra that you want to pull on. I just say, like, don't complicate it. Thank you. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it simple. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. You know.
Yeah. If you can picture yourself and a microphone being put in front of your face right after you finish a marathon or a race, and you say, "Hey, what were you thinking out there?" It's oftentimes it's a stretch for people to come up with an answer if it was a truly great performance. So for the guys who are racing tomorrow, if you have a great day and someone sticks a microphone, what were you thinking out there? And you can say nothing. Yeah, that really was a great day, because you're just kind of going with the flow, and you don't have to invent things to think about. Yeah, really good days. You really do. It's pretty. Unfortunately, I guess that's where Meathead name kind of derives from. Is you just stop thinking about a lot of it, like, period.
So, Andy, I heard about your special breathing technique you did before your swim race.
Yeah.
Can you explain that or show it to us?
Yeah. So, for when it comes to swimming, or actually any physical activity, a lot of people never really get taught how to breathe. And in my thinking about breathing is it's highly underrated. Like, breathing in life, kind of underrated, right? Like, you don't hear a lot of people talk about breathing. And with swimming, you want to exhale with your face in the water. So when you're turning and your face is out of the water, you're spending all that time taking in air and O2. You don't want to, with swimming, you don't want to turn, exhale with your face out of the water, and then inhale, because that's a deterrent for your stroke. It really interrupts the rhythm and the flow to everything. And with running, you don't have that medium between you and breath. You can breathe when you want to breathe. But you'll find yourself when you're running or when you're riding that if you can exhale completely, you get a full exhale, everything coming in is being taken to the muscles that are demanding it, and you become more efficient. You create an efficiency within your breathing. So I try to create that efficiency before the race even starts. So I will breathe in and out really rapidly. Like, it's kind of violent, and so it's like you look really silly doing it. But it's like a lot of rapid breaths, really quick for about 15 seconds, and then one big deep breath, and then you repeat the process a couple of times. And I don't know if this is what's happening physiologically or not, but this is what I picture in my mind. So, like, I got lungs, and the short breaths, I'm filling them up. It's like rapid, get everything activated, and then a deep breath. The air and the O2 goes a little bit deeper, and then it's rapid, a little bit deeper, and you hold it, and then rapid, until all the deep recesses of your lungs are activated. I have no idea if that's true, but that's the picture I paint in my mind while I'm doing it, and I've convinced myself that that's what's happening, just so I can activate just the really deep capillaries within your lungs, so everything is firing and everything is like activation on, like a superhero. So it kind of empowers me to really when my limbs say push, I can say okay, as opposed to no. Yeah.
A question for both of you. Two questions: pre-race nutrition, and then the idea of the steady tempo or pace versus staggering the effort, I guess you would say. When in a marathon would you say